Our first speaker, and I'm going to murder his name as well, and that's Charles Hsuan. And Charles writes, we all start businesses for different reasons, but the one thing we all need is growth. To grow, you need clients. And without clients, there's no income, and therefore no business. But to get clients, you have to sell. And the problem is that nobody taught us to sell. At school, one of the skills perhaps we should be taught at school, amongst many others, is actually how to sell. So Charles is a story-selling sales coach, and he helps businesses sell more, faster, and to the right clients. So tonight, Charles is going to talk about sustainability of your business. Let's welcome Charles.
Yes. Hello, everybody. So, let me just move this here. So I got a call from Gerald about 2 weeks ago to say, please come and talk. And as you know, it's a very, very short time to prepare a talk. So please excuse me if it's not as polished as I would like to be, because Gerald kind of just say, Charles, you have 2 weeks, go for it. So basically I asked him a few questions, and I believe that in the last, I think this is month number 6, every month there's a different topic that's being spoken about. And the question I addressed to Gerald is, what is the question that is begging to be answered and nobody's talking about? And he's like, that's a good question. He said, it's probably about sustainability, money, how do you stay in business? I said, okay, cool, let's talk about that. So I know some of you, I don't know many of you, so I just want to get to know you a little bit. Ian, I know a little bit of you. What topic do you focus on?
How to speak.
How to speak, okay. And you, ma'am? You?
How to sell.
How to sell, okay. And you?
Performance, how to
Perform? How to make money. What about you, cameraman? What's it? Never mind. All right, next. France?
International trade.
International trade. Okay. So the point is, we all have different areas of expertise. So put up your hand if you know you're not the only one in your area of expertise. Am I right? Every single one of us, hands go up. And as Ian rightly said, that what I have discovered is in the 12 years of school, we have never ever been taught how to sell. Never. So that's the problem. So what I have noticed, my business turned 7 in October, and I've noticed over time why people came to me. Not because I call myself a sales coach, not because of that, but because their expertise is here. So let's say you in the business of speaking. So over the years, you read podcasts, read books, whatever, but then the sales skills are still here. Maybe you do a little bit, but not as much. All I'm trying to do is help everybody balance. So you can be expert in your field and also know how to sell. That's all I'm here to do. So the things I'm sharing with you is I like to call it the sustainability of something called the company of one, which is not the same as being a solopreneur. Because I checked out the definition of solopreneur on Oxford Dictionary. Solopreneur meaning somebody that starts a business and run it on their own. But here's the thing. The device that we're holding in our hand, did you design the phone? No. What about the laptop you're using? No. What about car you drove? No. We all had help somewhere along the line. Even the clothes. I didn't make this myself. So the company of one, by the way, there's a book called Company of One by Paul Jarvis, which is what I'm currently reading. Basically, it's about challenging the idea that more doesn't always equal better. Because if you read books, if you listen to the speaker, they all talk about growth, 10x, and this and this. But why? Why? Why do you have to grow 10x every year? I mean, so the question I start thinking is, perhaps there's enough number that sometimes when you earn up to a certain level, money is not the main motivation anymore. It's not. Because if you speak to, there's a book called 5 Regrets of the Dying. So people are about to peg and ask them, what do you regret? Nobody ever said, $1 more. Never. They have regrets about other things. So it got me thinking, like the company of one is about building a sustainable business in terms of what is valuable to you. So I have enough number. And once I get to that number, I'm good. So for me, true wealth is, the success for me is being famous in my own home. Meaning my son and my wife knows me. In the afternoon, I can play with him. I can work out with him. That's it. You know, why do we have to have more for no purpose? However, we have to pay for life. So what I'm about to share with you is, if you see yourself as a company of one, in other words, you do, so for example, you in the business of speaking, so you do that and you do that 100%. The other things, you hire experts to help you, building your website, tax, design, you get the point. So there's a very different way of, solopreneur means I do this by myself, I'm self-made, but a company of one is, I'm one person, but I hire other experts to do things that I'm not good at. So I can be focused on good at what I do. And I learned this years ago when I was reading a book, and it says that we all know that Jewish people, they're very good at business, right? We all know that. And in the opening book, it was written by a rabbi, he said, have you noticed on a Saturday, you'll very seldom see a Jewish man cutting their own lawn because they'll pay somebody else to do it. I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. I do what I'm good at. I hire experts to do other things that they're good at. Company of one. So, sustainability. These are what I call the 5 Ps. And Chris made a joke about the P, so I'm not going to repeat what he said. All right, and the whole idea behind this is, I don't know about you, stats are all against us in terms of survival. So I was reading the GEM report, the Global Entrepreneur Measurement. They do the whole study of all the entrepreneurs. Basically, if 10 people start their business, 5 years later, only 3 are left. 10 years later, 1 is left. So I'm all about sustainable instead of here for 2 years and then gone. So this is just what I've learned over the past 7 years. Right, so here's the first P. And it's not going to be any surprise, and that is pain. And let me explain to you why. So let's say Gerald decides to play a cruel joke and decides to do an experiment and strap us with an electric device. And here's what he says. You can get zapped now, get it over and done with, or you can get zapped in the next half an hour, but you won't know when. Which one would you pick? Zap now or I zap you whenever I feel like it? What about you? Now. What about you? Do you prefer to get zapped now or whenever I press the button? What about you, ma'am? Sure. Now, see, and the study shows, there was a study done by University of Virginia, most people say, zap me now, because our brain is designed to avoid pain. And we don't like surprises. So in terms of business, if you're not solving any kind of pain, it's going to be a very, very hard sell. Vitamins is harder to sell than painkillers. So another example, the bottle of water. How much is a bottle of water in the shops? Spar, Woolies, whatever. Average, 12 Rand. Okay. What if I say to you that you'll pay me $5,000 for it? You'll think not a chance, right? But let me paint you a scenario. Let's say I invite you on a hike. You forgot to bring your water. It's 30 degrees. 3-4 hours goes by. I'm like, I have a bottle of water, but it's going to cost you everything you have in your bank account. You're going to pay me. When there's enough pain, there's profit. So I notice this, like I said, the thing about pain is that people have never been taught how to sell. That's a pain that I noticed. And I don't think it's right. Hence, I created a coaching service that's transferable skill so people can sell more in less time to the right clients. Today, the proof is 63% of my clients have doubled their sales. 63%. Not because I'm the Messiah, but because I'm teaching them a skill in terms of how to think, which the 5 Ps will cover a little bit of it. So pain is you need to know what pain you're solving. And you'll be surprised, like sometimes when I speak to people, they don't actually know. It's like, if there's no pain, why should I part with my hard-earned cash? So that's number one. If there's no pain, you have nothing. The second P is the product. And this is the mistake that I made right in the beginning of my career. I labeled myself as a consultant. That's like selling air. People don't know what they're buying. I'm a consultant. What am I buying? It's not concrete. And then I had an aha moment when I was speaking to. Do you guys have heard of a guy called Douglas Kruger? Yeah. Okay, so I was interviewing him. He was on my podcast. I was chatting to him, and originally I positioned myself as storytelling, but he's like, and then he keeps on digging. It's like, Charles, but what is the point of that, Mark? Well, it's this and this, but what is the point of that? And then I finally said, it's to help people sell. He's like, that's it. That's when I had the aha moment. When I created the coaching program, that's when everything changed. So you need to you need to be solving some kind of pain for people and create a product around it, so people know what they're buying. Okay, so that's number 2. The third P is plain English. And I mean this. How oftentimes, like, let's say if we go to a braai, and you're chatting to friends, you'll be sharing stories, very in plain English. But somewhere, somehow, when you're on stage, when you're typing an email, you use the biggest words. I'm experiencing this firsthand because I recently sold my house and I'm dealing with transfer attorneys. Hearing, within, hereby, therefore. I'm like, what are you talking about? Explain to me in plain English. Hearing, within, this and this and this. We hereby undertake. I'm like, what does that mean? I literally had to use ChatGPT to translate. And I'm not making this up. And I phoned them. Did you mean this? Yes. I'm like, why don't you just say so? Okay. So Chris is going to be talking about the first minute, which is all about like communication. So I know some of you, how many of you feel like you need proof, you need stats, you need case studies to be convinced? Put up your hand. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so most of you. So here's the thing. It's not enough to give people stats. It's not enough. And let me explain to you why. Have you ever come across a personal situation that no matter what they say, what they do, you say to yourself, something's off. Something is just not right. We've all been there. And guess what? You didn't go ahead. So let me use a quick analogy. Imagine the rider on an elephant. So the rider trains the elephant to do tricks, trains it well, get to know it, and all that stuff. And it looks like the rider is in charge because he's commanding the elephant. But we all know if an elephant and a rider gets into an argument, who wins? Right? The rider is your logic brain. The elephant is the emotional side. When we speak stats, we speak to the rider, but we leave out the beautiful elephant. So if you speak in plain English in terms of emotive and logical language, you cover both. Plain English. That needs to evoke some kind of emotion and kind of evoke some kind of stats to prove what you're trying to say. So that's number 3. The fourth one is pricing on purpose. And pricing is, how many of you get people to ask, how do you charge? And you give them hourly rate. Have you done that before? No? Okay, I'm not in a room full of accountants or attorneys. Because Rudolph is a CA, am I right? Hourly rates. Or attorneys will be like billable hours. If people ever ask you that, how do you charge hourly rate? Don't answer that. It's a bad idea. Let me explain to you why. And that's what I call a pricing on purpose. Let's say you have a situation, and let's say somebody is doing business with you, and they screwed up the contract, and you know they owe you 20,000 Rand, but you need an attorney to get the money. 3 attorneys, and you tell me which one you will pick. Attorney number 1, they're all as qualified. They're all qualified equally. Attorney number 1 says, we're very, very good at what we do. We plenty of testimonies. Our hourly rate is 1,000 Rand an hour. But we can't tell you how much or how long it will take. We might have to go to court and this and that. Basically, you're going to get a surprise bill. Attorney number 1, which a lot of them do that. Right? They do that. Attorney number 1. Attorney number 2 says to you, you know what, Ian, we know people don't like the surprise way, so what we have done is win or lose is 4,000 Rand. Option number 2. Option number 3, you speak to another lawyer. Let's call it, let's say it's Rudolph. So Rudolph has been through a few wars, so he decided to change the business model. And he says this, you know what, we stand by what we do. If we win, we get 6,000 out of the 20,000. If we lose, you pay us nothing. Put up your hand if you go with, so just to recap, option 1 is you get a surprise bill. Option 2, pay or lose, win or lose, 4,000 Rand. Option 3, if we win, we get 6 grand. Otherwise, we pay you nothing. Put up your hand if you will choose option 1. You will go with the hourly rate one. Put up your hand if you will go with win or lose, 4,000 Rand. No one. 1, 2, okay? Number 3, 6,000 bucks. Aha. Pricing on purpose. Pricing on purpose. I solved your pain. I have a product. I'm not charging hourly rate. Pricing on purpose. So if we know how to price on purpose, you can charge a lot more. And also the way you phrase it. The way I phrase it is, if we win, you pay us. Otherwise, you owe us nothing. So you know I'm going to do everything in my power to get you that money. It's the way we phrase it. Pricing on purpose. The last one. How am I doing with time? Gerald, how am I doing with time? Hey, do you have a question? Because you're doing like... He looks like a very shy school kid. All right. It's the profitable clients. So once you have your pricing right, you need to find profitable clients. So this is how I define profitable clients. People that you love working with. That when your phone rings, when you see them, you're like, yes, it's them, because you have the same value. Number 2, because you have the same value, because they value what you do, you get a good return for them. And number 3, they pay you what you're worth. I don't know about you, I've noticed the best clients never haggle on price. We've all been there. So those clients, they shouldn't even be clients. I'm gonna share a last example about the profitable clients, just a way of thinking. Because I've seen over and over again when I ask people, do you have a proven method to make sales, or are you taking on anybody that pays? Most of the time, unfortunately, people say, I take on anybody that pays. So I just want to shift the mindset a bit. And Rudolph, you know this example. Finish the sentence for me. You can lead a horse to, but you cannot make the horse. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make the horse drink. Think about that ridiculous statement for a second. Why on earth would you want to lead a horse to water if the horse is not thirsty? Why? So my thing is, find thirsty horses. Right? If you can find their pain, and you can provide a product, if you explain to them in plain English, and if you price on purpose, bam. Profitable clients. And that is I've just seen in the 7 years that this is how some of the ways that I'm able to beat the stats and also help my clients to beat the stats. Because can anybody tell me why if you take these 5 P's, you will not be around for the next few years? Please tell me, because I need somebody to tell me that I'm crazy. Anyone? Please. So are you all agreeing, or are you still digesting? Because I don't know. Yes, what's your name, ma'am?
Teresa.
Teresa, yes, Teresa, hi.
If the pain goes away,
Yes.
you might not have clients. But if the pain persists, then you should have clients.
If the pain goes away, explain that? Like what?
So if the pain you solve
Mhm.
doesn't exist,
Anymore, because of your help.
no, in general,
Okay?
it disappears.
Like what?
Um,
I need an example to be able to help answer your question a bit.
So I focus on real estate.
Okay.
And currently people can't sell their properties
Because?
of several reasons.
Okay.
Suddenly the market changes and there's not enough property around.
Okay.
The pain is gone
Okay.
because it was solved by the market.
Okay. I work with real estate agents. They were based in Australia, and this is what the guy said to me. And you've been in the business for how long now? More than 30 years. Perfect. So you have 30 years of case studies. True or false? Doesn't matter if it's economy, upturn or downturn, somebody's always selling and somebody's always buying.
I was just giving an example.
Yeah, no, I know. But this is no. But Teresa, that's a great example, because sometimes people can say, oh, it's the economy, it's this and this. It's the same as housing. I just sold my house, so I know different agencies see things differently. But there's always somebody buying and there's always somebody selling. It just depends on how we phrase it. So you had I wasn't attacking you. It was just, please don't. Okay, please don't think I'm attacking him. Yes, sir. Okay, but did you want to add something there? All right. So basically, look, you know what? When Gerald asked me to come and talk, I was thinking about the sustainability, and it just occurred to me it was because of these 5 Ps. Like I struggle to think that if we do these 5 Ps wrong, I mean, if we do these 5 Ps right, why can't we build a sustainable business? I mean, Rudolph, you're an accountant and a CA by trade. Tell me, is there any reason if we master the 5 Ps that the business cannot be sustainable? Because I need to know that I'm not insane. Okay.
But maybe just to give an example on those, we had a business in a training space at some stage, and because of a change in legislation, that structure couldn't go forward anymore. So the pain that we solved
Disappeared.
really didn't exist. So the whole business actually stopped. So it can happen, but that stops everything. It's not just that I'm failing in doing my work. It's literally a change in how
Absolutely, and that's a valid point. Think about typewriters. Once upon a time, people took typewriting class, and now we don't do that. So the pen went away. Now we use other stuff. Same as like telephone. They used to have this dispatches like patching you through. I mean, that was way before my time, but so I've heard, and it's so I've heard around the campfire. In the movies, you know, those things also went away. It's nobody's fault. It's just that pen went away. So. Anyways, I guess my time is up. Just want to say thank you for listening. This is the first time I'm sharing these so-called 5 Ps in front of a live audience. So I appreciate you all listening. Thanks so much.
Thanks very much, Charles, for that fascinating insight into the 5 Ps and sustainability from your side.